Golden Boy by Clifford Oldest. Golden Boy by Clifford Oldest, analyzed by John A. Garcia, 8th semester, Universidad de San Buenaventura, Bogotá. Autobiography, Clifford Oldest. Oldest was born in July 18 in 1906 in Philadelphia. Oldest's father, Louis, was the printer who owned his own printing plant by the time Oldest was 12. When Oldest quit high school in 1923 to pursue poetry and acting, his father was infuriated. However, he eventually gave his permission for Oldest to try to be an actor. During the next 7 years, Oldest acted in a number of roles, but was not very successful, although in 1929 he was hired as an understudy for Spencer Tracy in Warren F. Lawrence's Conflict. Another member of the play's cast introduced Oldest to the theater guide, which introduced him to the group theater, which he joined in 1930. Oldest and a group of theater produced and Playwright's first play, Waiting for the Lefty, and a further one at Plain that detailed the horrid ordinary human working face. The play, which used in 1934 New York City, kept strict and its setting. However, after his next two plays, Till the Day of Death and A Paradise Lost, both produced in 1935, failed to generate the same kind of success. Oldest accepted a job as a screenwriter in Hollywood. Particularly about the writer's style is a social drama. Oldest earned his fame through the social drama of his early career, which openly advocated that the messages fight for the right by participating in street other protests, although later plays like Golden Boy are not as an over-and-day reference. Some critics still considering that the play social drama, in part because they share the same spirit of the earlier plays, for example in Golden Boy. Summary: The Golden Boy is a social drama which reflects the American people dream. It's a clear example about a young man who seeks to have his dream at all cost. Joe Bonaparte is an Italian-American man who dreams of becoming a skilled violinist. Joe, however, fights in a boxing match for management Tom Moody, which he wins. Joe's father, Mr. Bonaparte, has scraped up enough money to afford a top of the line violin for Joe's 21st birthday. However, upon learning to Joe's fight from John's brother Frank, Mr. Bonaparte decided not to give Joe the violin. 2 months later, Joe has become a successful boxer for Moody and Rosie Glidden and a prize-fight promoter. Joe's career continues to advance. A famous gangster, Eddie Fuseli, approached Moody and Rosie, demanding to be signed as a partner, which Joe agrees to. Moody, believing Joe to be distracted by his fame, convinces his girlfriend Lorna to talk to Joe. Lorna cannot bring her to celebrate on the relation with Moody, feeling that he has lost Lorna as well as a father respect. Joe no longer holds back the rings. In the next match, Joe defends the opportunity but breaks out. Joe has become to a ranking prize fighter. He has become disillusioned with his fame and his image and has become more vicious in the ring. When Lorna accuses Joe of being a killer like Fuseli, disorganized Joe is unable to stay focused against an opponent, but pulls through with a victory before the celebration begins. Joe learns that his final blow would kill the opponent. Meanwhile, Just manager arrived at the Bonaparte's house to wait for Joy and Lorna. Frank received the call informating that Joy and Lorna have died in a car crash. In this part, as it's really important to mention the next, we had the opportunity to check the book and so the movie, but the end of the movie is totally different in both cases. In a movie, the end of the movie it's when Joey and Lauren decided to continue the new life, and he continues to try to find him for take his dream that is a professional violinist, and everything is perfect. But at the end of the book, Lorna and Joy died in a crash accident. Yes, in a crash course. And that part is different because about the specific style of writer that is in social drama, it's really normal that the main characters finish his interpretation in a tragedy. For this reason, as a different, and obviously on a movie try to move something for try to change the end that is a really tragic. Now we have beginning to work about the settings. This movie has the different settings, and this part let's like to shake one of parts of this. The number one is a Bonaparte home. In New York City house on U-Boxers, John Bonaparte and his family. And this combination of dingy living rooms suggests on a world of culture and the arts is plastered by the composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Louis van Beethoven, and piles of newspapers reflect the family interest in music and in arts. The next setting that is really important is the park bench, set used only for Joey and his mistress Lorna, because in this place they always talking about their feelings, and Joy express his love, and Lorna try to express the uncomfortable situations that she have to live with Moody and his reality. The other important setting is the gymnasium. In this case, it's which Joe training while he works on a door. The mobster Eddie Fusilli argues with Moody about Fusilli's owning part of the joy. That's just really important because here it's when the movie begins to tell us a history for unfortunately accidentally that the older boxer from Moody and at this opportunity to Joy beginning to fight her. The other one, and also really important, is the Moody office. Office of Joe Boxing Management, Tom Moody, its manager furnishing are appropriated because Tom is an almost broken and it's unsuccessful fight to state and financially sources. That's important. And the dressing room. That's part that's really important sitting in a pub because dressing room the arena is with Joe boxes with a chocolate drop kill. And that's part the moment it's when Joey tried to experiment at the different feelings that confused about his life and beginning to think about it's noticing he's not happy about what happening with his real life. And this specific part when you look up the picture, Joey is crying because it's a really fit part. After to this part, Joey goes to fire with chocolate drop king, and these other ones died about the situation. Now it's the time to beginning about some important characters in a movie. Yeah, they are a lot, but I try to choose the most important and try to give in a short sentence about them. Yeah, number one is Joe Bonaparte, knows only as a boy in a first part of the first ascent, is a talented violinist who trained his musical ring of the chains to pierce the life of famous and fortune in boxing. Is the beginning of the fire promoter Moody. The next, it's Lorna. And the first part of the movie, Lorna is the fiancée from Moody, but I try to making a plan for try to join continuing boxing with Moody and not go. He goes to Fuseli. She discovered the true love in he, and it's a really important characteristic in a movie and of this personality. The next part is Anna. Anna is Joe's sister and Sige's wife. Anna's marriage is filled with love and devotion, and she and her husband frequently get into spring fights. Anna plays the maternal role for Joe. It's a place to decide the motto. In addition, Anna plays the piano. And then song prominence is really important. That the first part when Joey discovered the violin that his father bought for him, and he began to play it, and Anna gave an accompaniment with the piano. It was a really interesting part. The next part, it's a Moody. Moody actually it's really important, and it's a promoter. It's a matchman of the boxers. He's the fiancé from Lorna, and he has a really important characteristic because he always, all the time in the movie, is try to motivate it in a specific way that's possible. Say it to Joe Bonaparte continues to fight, and at the end of the movie, he loses the joy because Joe decided goes to Sicily. That's interesting, an interesting part on the movie. The next part is Mr. Bonaparte or Papa Bonaparte. Mr. Bonaparte is Joe's Italian father who hosts alienates when he is started to get famous because of his boxing career. Mr. Bonaparte is shorted of the man who is hard to upset. It's really important that the Mr. Bonaparte, it's always he tells to Joey continues with the musician career and try to follow the dreams, but it feels really bad when Joey decided to take other weight and especially the boxing. And he has it's so hard pain for try to convince his son, but he can't do it that. And that's part. The next part is Rosie Gattilli. It's one of the partners with management Joy. In the beginning, Rosie, like Moody and others, does not believe it that Joy will ever be a great fighter, but they are desperate and take Joy anyway. The next part is Fusilli. Ade Fusilli is a notorious homosexual Italian gangster who is heavily involved in a gambling and who buys a piece of Joe management. Although Joe's another management, to Moody and Rosie don't want to sell any other share to Fusilli. They are intimidated by his balanced reputation. And the last one of this character is Sige. Sige is Joe's brother-in-law and Anna's husband, although and he plans his father-in-law, Mr. Bonaparte, to buy him a taxi cab. Mr. Bonaparte will not. Sige is frustrated because he wants to open his own taxi car business instead of driving a cab for a company, where he never make enough money to get ahead alive. That are some most important characters about the movie. Now it's time to talk about the symbol. That movie has a lot of symbols, and I try to choose the most important for try to explain for me, in my opinion, why each one of them is a symbol. Yes, first of all, at some point giving some definition about symbols, kind of different forms generally, is an object represented another to give an entirely different meaning that is much deeper and more significant. Sometimes, however, in action and even not words spoken, but someone may have a symbolic balloon. For instance, smile is a symbol of friendship. Smelly, the action of someone smelling at your remain stands as a symbol of the feeling affection which that person has for you. Yes? Specifically for this part, symbol has history, has different symbols like Empire State Building, clothes, boxing gloves, that, and so on. But for me, the most important is the violin. Now, I don't want to explain each one of them. The number one, Empire State Building, social, economic, and cultural. That at the first of the movie, happening the opening the movie with this kind of building, that is really important because they represent the American culture, the power economical culture in this moment. That's really important. Is try to remember that was the context, the historical context of the movie. In this specific part, we can see that actually the novel was written in 1935-37. That's after to the big economical crisis, but the tellers is before to beginning the crisis. For this, this building represents the power economical situation, that all the situations that the people can believe or can make true these dreams. That's a really important symbol for me in this part. Now the clothes. In this case, is in a specific die, represent the moment of stress. Actually, this is Moody, and Moody always uses a tie. Actually, all the characters, all the main characters in a movie wear a tie. But in this case, Moody always moves your tie when he feels stressed, when he feels in a difficult moment, and always is trying to move the tie and disorganize the tie. And in our first part, Lorne always is trying to organize a tie, but when he feels really bad, he always moves. And he represents the stress. The tie represents the bad moment that happening with them, and all their characters in a movie. The boxing gloves represent the past and bad decision. Yes, that's a really characteristic because all in the movie happen around to the boxing, but the gloves, specific at the end of the movie, that it's the camera focuses the boxing gloves when Joy into to the room where is the family for the chocolate thing that who is died because Joy died in a fighters, and Joy look at the box the boxing gloves, and beginning he thinks that represent the bad decision he do it for money, the bad decision take for try to follow in a false dreams, and try don't understand what happening with his life in this specific moment. That is a really important symbol. That is the represent the really bad moment in the Joy's life. The death, of course, as a reflection moment and a second opportunity. When this is the most difficult fight it has Joy did, and after to finish that, Joy it's in a dressing room, and one people, maybe there's a policeman, it's inside there, and talk to everybody, say, okay, you're a clean boxer because the opposite is killed. And that's also part with the death in this moment. It's a reflection moment, and as for Joy, and Joy began to think, so okay, it's not my life, I don't happy with this, and I'm murder, and my father it's isn't disappointed with my point of view, my life, he is sad for this situation, and the death represent all these bad moments, and this the second opportunity in a movie try to do. For me, the most important is the violin. Actually, it's present the dream and sadness. The violin represents different moments in a movie, and a first moment when Joy discovered the violin that his father decided didn't give him, he said that okay, it's my passion, and he began to play that's the violin, and so incredible melody that's happening that, and it's a beautiful moment in a movie because his father just sit here and just waiting happening all the magic, and that's incredible. It's really good. But additionally it's a sadness because in a second part to the movie um, when Joy tried again to play it, and he can't because he's on a broken head, and he's really sadness because he said that, okay, father, the boxing and the music can mix it, and that's really bad. But all happening around that, the ball represent the dream, the ball represent all the essential from Joy, and represents the broken about I can follow my dreams about a musician, but I fall in the boxing because the boxing give me money, and the American dreams consists in giving money, and that's a really difficult part about this history for me. That the sample, the violin is the most important sample there. Now, at the same time, to support quotations, that are giving representations about what happened in the earth. Okay, that if you look at the next, um, as the first one, yes, here you have that's the number one. How do you say? I love the violin. I love it more than any else, but I practiced for 10 years, and that's a specific Joe, it's explain his father that the true love it's the violin, and I considering an important moment because in this part is broken the dream for Joy. Yes, Joy beginning to think so. It's really difficult trying to live about the music, and he practices for 10 years violin, but he can earns money about that. For this decision, this is the broken moment for he continues to the boxing life, and he try to live his dream. The second one, you can here see sometimes where there is something about your sad, your eyes, your mouth, even. This is I think in this part of the movie it's happening to the express the love. Yes, express that one to romantic situation, and a true love about the history, and this represents some important words that Joy said to Laura when learning it's an fiancé to Moody. That's part is impossible can forget, but that's a really love that expressions, and that's part of the movie express that one. All the lyrics that Joy used for try to capture up the learning attention. Here that as an interesting part because I think that and the movie represent that okay, if you need to give in something about your life, you need to take a risk, or you need to take a difficult decisions, and if you want to something, you need to pay the price for this something. Yes, and in this case the movie represent for me this part because he seems shy with the hands, and he couldn't have hearts than every fighter has his. In this part, and this specific part in the movie represent that okay, he wants John wants to protect his hands, but he can't because in a boxing is really normal. You broken your hands, but I just represent the situation. Other support quotations at the next. Playing the violin people used too loud in their hearts my feelings for years. I think that in this part of the movie, that's specific, and I refuse about this part. If you want to see here, Joey has felt really bad about the discrimination when he was a child, and he have a different bad moments about his life. This is for me the most important reason that the Joyce decided to broken with the musician dream and try to follow another dreams. He was when he was a child, he was bullying, he wasn't a bullying, he was all the guys lauded about him because he's an Italian people about his last name and about his attitudes, about the different skills that Joel has, and that's really bad. And this for me, this inspiration that this moment, especially that broken, that is say, okay, I don't, I suppose that Joel say that I don't continue with my music, but I continue with the boxing because I want to show that I need people that respect other ones, and I have the power for the fighters, yes, for the strong, and for me that's power represent this okay. Here that's also for me it's another expression that the if you want something you need to pay the price and you need to do it whatever you need to do for try to have. Yes, look at this expression, and that's really sad because actually Joy loves Lorna. Joy loves Lorna, and then say Moody send you after me to Cody will do Western your time, and actually it was the plan. Yes, Lauren tried to speak with Joy and try to take in account ideas for he take the decision for beginning to boxing in other levels. Yes, and try to he doesn't show really shamey with the hits, and actually that's a really important, and for me that's supporting that's important. Other important, it's that's metro to town a good connection with my piece of view. This this part, the supporting quotation, the general idea, it's about okay. Do you know who's the Batman? And if that's Batman, you try to decide it. Okay, you would give me my hand, you taken, but you decided that your future, all the things that you need to do for this man, it's in a bad style of life, but you decided, okay, yes, I do it because I need to earn money, and that's also really important, and that's a really sort of a really bad situation with dance. And the other ones that's really sad. Generally, they are in a specific moment that I think that in a movie, it's the dreams. I mean, you can take the best about two different words, or you choose one, or you choose other one, but not both. And I so really identify with that because sometimes we had different dreams and I want to pick up here and pick up there, but that's really difficult for me. That represent this sense represent that where prepared musician and fighters just don't mix the song, and that's I suppose explain it along that the sport. Yes, now after I think that the true love always is it's important in different novels and in a real life as possible. And I considering that the when you feel a true love, you need to express all your feelings with normal situation with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and after you try to express your actual feelings and you try to help the other ones to take a dreams if it is possible. And for me to represent that, cry by your heart to music to you. No, I can't play it anymore half. and that's as a real that is a real condition for me, because in this part and this supporting that the true love, because Lorena decided to tell us all the truth from him, and he expressed, okay, you need to continue with your dream, to continue to come back to your field, to try to keep up your hands for don't hurt it. Yes. And also connections about literature and his characteristics. There are different characteristics that you can identify the modernism in this part. That's also really interesting. One of the characteristics has in a period is an immigration from the countries to the city, and novel represents an important moment when the Americans try to look for their dreams. For this reason, all the context has developed in the city, in a urban city. The vocabulary instruction has evolutionary in the different aspects, like the colloquial expressions and vocabulary. It has weight, the moderns broken the paradigm with the realins, that the novel has a good grammar structures and good vocabulary. Several parts linked with a symbol relate for this age, for example, of the Empire State Building represent economic power in the United States, and people always wear formal clothes, for example, tight and sweet. The last represent the rupture among countries and a city. That is a really important situation. Other characteristic has the movie about the moderns after rupture with the traditionalists. We can see the things that the main characters does not want to boxers yet, and a fighter for changing his reality. He searched to be free and doing his passion. And the other characteristics that you can find in this period was that it's a situation as possible. I mean, it's not a total real situation, but it's possible you try to confront his reality with our reality, and you try to make it possible. You try to identify about the normal context and a historical context. That is a really important characteristic that you can find there. And additional to that, you need to as possible as easy. I mean, it's a really good vocabulary and good instructions, but continues to make it easy. And as possible, you rescue the true love and a perfect histories. That other important characteristic about the moderns, and obviously different to the realities, is that the things try to happen in more fantastic than other ones. That is a really important part about the realism and specifically about the moderns. That has always continued to look for the true love, the fantastic histories, the heroes as a lot different, but in specific in this, it's possible you try to identify in this period that part. The urban as a really important part, because always try to give in more people to countries, from countries to the cities. That is important because everybody try to look the American dreams. Yes. Actually, that's for us about the last part of the homework. That is what is the connection about other literature periods. And I know this is an extra point, and I considering that sometimes it is possible to try to check out not with the realists, because the difference between realism and others is really marked, but yes, with the romantics. In my personal opinion, the modernists take one's more important attitudes about and activities and aspects about romanticism, because there are determining moment that the cultural and historical conditions began to happen in a specific in American, that the people were tired about the colloquial and normal situations, and try to give into the fantastic situations and a perfect histories that has more interesting than the normal lives and about the modernism. And I considering that there's an important connection about to the other period, that try to rescue something, the true love, try to rescue the fantastic essence, the fantastic histories, for try to give in more interesting and plannedly situations about the novel. It's really important to consider in, and try to remember that part, that the modernism happen in specific in Europe, and after all of writers need to live there for try to come back to their countries for beginning to live their new experiences about the modernism. Thank you so much. That's all.